best part about painting the circle of Willis is that there's lots of little arteries. Arteries here, arteries there, arteries everywhere. Lots of happy little arteries. There. Now, right here, where the anterior communicating artery meets the anterior cerebral artery, I got a little carried away. That artery is a little too big on this side. No problem. Maybe that's just a little aneurysm. Maybe a little old Barry aneurysm lives right there in our world. It's our world. We can put aneurysms any old place we want. Maybe it's not a little aneurysm. Maybe it's a big old aneurysm. There we go. Look at that son of a gun. He's a big one, isn't he? He could blow it any minute. Any second now, that old aneurysm could just burst right open, and our poor patient would be complaining of the worst headache in his life. Maybe another aneurysm lives over here. Maybe he's got bunches of aneurysms. Maybe he's got Ehlers-Danlos or autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease. And he's got aneurysms everywhere. He's a regular ticking time bomb. He's a neurosurgeon's best friend. Better get those clipped, little buddy. Hello there. Today we're painting a portrait of a sweet young lady with osteogenesis imperfecta. What's the classic facial feature of osteogenesis imperfecta? Right, it's the blue sclera, those beautiful blue sclera. So let's take our knife, and we're going to pick up some of our titanium white and mix in a little Prussian blue. Then we're going to get just a little roll of paint on our knife, and we'll go up here to our canvas and just fire it in there any old way. Any old way you want, just like that. There are lots of different kinds of osteogenesis imperfecta, but most commonly there's a mutation in the gene for the alpha chains of type 1 collagen. Or maybe sometimes there's a problem with hydroxylation, but usually it's a mutation in the alpha chains, an autosomal dominant mutation. Looky there. Isn't that beautiful? I think so. It's just that easy. Well, the little clock on the wall says we're just about out of time. God bless you, my friend. Let's paint some pathogens today. I love all of God's creatures, not just the cute cuddly ones either. Who's to say that bacteria aren't cute? I'll bet their moms think they're cute. So let's start with Vibrio and Campylobacter. It's easy to get these mixed up because they're both curvy bacilli. People want to sometimes describe them as C-shaped or S-shaped or sometimes comma-shaped, but that's not quite right. Let's start with Vibrio. It's a gram-negative, so let's take our fan brush and we'll start with some alizarin crimson, and we'll mix in a little bit of liquid white, give it a nice warm pinkish color. There we are. Now Vibrio species are slightly curved rods, not really C-shaped, just slightly curved, just a little bit bendy. Some of them might be bent more than others, but you get the idea. Just a gentle bend. And then Vibrio have this nice long flagellum at one end. He uses that to get around in the petri dish or in your colon, wherever he happens to be. So maybe in our world, there's a happy little flagellum that lives right there. What do you say? You get to put him wherever you want. It's your painting. So that's our little friend Vibrio. Just a slightly curved bacillus with a nice long flagellum. So pretty. Not so pretty if you happen to be dying of cholera, but pretty enough to look at. Maybe next time we'll paint some rice water stools, but not today. I'll have to order some more Van Dyke Brown first. Now let's compare Vibrio to Campylobacter. Remember, some people will try to call this one comma-shaped too, or maybe S-shaped, but don't be fooled. Campylo means twisted, or bent, or crooked. So Campylobacter is a twisted bacteria, like a spiral or a corkscrew. Now, that means when you look at him two-dimensionally, he might look like a C, or maybe like an S or a Z. But remember, he's like a little spiral. And then he's got a little flagellum too, just like our Vibrio. There. He's a friendly little bugger, that Campylobacter. There's nothing wrong with having bacteria for friends. I've got stranger friends than that. I'll bet you do too. So I grabbed that old critter by the scruff of his neck and I said, "Mr. Squirrel, you are a rascal. You are a rascal." You know, that story always reminds me, I don't know why, but it always reminds me of the major toxins produced by group A strep. You remember what they are? You've got your streptolysin S toxin, which is oxygen stable. You've got your streptolysin O, which is oxygen labile. And you've got your erythrogenic and pyogenic toxins that cause scarlet fever. But don't get that mixed up with acute rheumatic fever. That's a result of group A strep infection too, but that's antibody mediated, not toxin mediated. And rheumatic fever occurs a couple of weeks after the infection. Would you look at the time? I get to talking, and before you know it, time's up. Well, from all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy studying, and God bless, my friend.